We are in the month of June, and June and December are our 2 months where we have like open topics. So what I thought we'll do today is a very gentle morning practice that probably is really better for like 7 in the morning than 9 in the morning. But you know, even 9 in the morning is still morning. So, but my hope is that this might be a practice that will suit you on days when you wake up early and you need a little bit of mobilizing and fluidity in the body. That's what we'll cultivate today. So that's where we're headed. So we'll start as always with our opening centering. So feel free to settle yourself in wherever you feel comfortable, either on the floor, in a seat, on the chair, in a seat, on the floor, lying down, whatever feels right for you this morning. And as always, of course, make a discerning choice based not on what you do typically or out of habit, but based on how your body, your breath, your mind feel this morning. And then invite yourself to arrive. Being very deliberate in using supports, props, to make your body and your breath as comfortable as possible. Maybe making discerning choices about how you would like to place your hands and your eyelids. Your eyes, of course, could be closed or open. If they are open, I invite you to find a very soft and gentle gaze somewhere ahead of you. A nice clear gaze, not a foggy gaze. And once you are settled in, very gently begin to meet your body with great attention and curiosity. Maybe beginning to notice how your body is showing up this morning, the reverberations of the night perhaps still present in some small way in your body. Having an open heart and an open mind about what it is that you're meeting in your body. Meeting experiences and sensations just as they are, not looking for anything, not creating anything, just trusting that what will come to your mind has already been there and needed to be seen and felt and experienced in some concrete way. Is there a way that you can meet your body with compassion this morning? And is there a gratitude you would like to express to your body? An appreciation, something heartfelt. And if so, tell your body right now, I am grateful to you for filling in the blank. If there is a sense that a particular body part that you're grateful for could benefit from your hand resting there, you might add a gentle touch. And then continue to hold your body in this grateful and compassionate awareness as you bring your attention to your breath, your vitality, your energy, meeting the pulsation of life within you with that same open, heart and mind that you brought to your body. Clearly seeing the vitality or the energy or the breath that is unfolding within you without striving for anything different, without looking for something specific, simply being open and awake to what is. By looking, we don't create anything that isn't already there. Even if something comes to our attention that seems unusual or novel, it just means we didn't notice it, but it was already there. And so can you meet whatever traces and pulsations of life within you with compassion? Perhaps understanding it in the context of the morning, what it might tell you about the kind of sleep you had. Meeting it with compassion and perhaps with gratitude. And if there is a sense of gratitude or a statement of appreciation that you have for your breath, for your energy, you could tell yourself that now. And holding body and breath in compassionate and appreciative awareness, gently draw your attention to your mind. And meet your thoughts, your stories, your emotions with that same openness of heart that you brought to body and vitality. Allowing what is present to be present. Resisting the urge to create something, to seek something, to want something. Simply being compassionately present with what is. And perhaps here too, there is something that deserves your gratitude. Some appreciation for the feelings or the thoughts or even the stories that your mind is carrying with it this morning. Perhaps reverberations of a dream that you had during sleep. And if there is such an appreciation, you could express that now. And continue to hold your body, your vitality, and your mind in compassionate and appreciative awareness as you perhaps begin to ponder the miracle that is your human capacity for wisdom, for intuition, for intelligence, for taking perspective on your own life and the life of others, for generating compassion during times of suffering, for generating love and kindness even in challenging situations, for remaining peaceful even when there's harm in the world, and for being able to experience joy. And can you take a moment to feel a deep appreciation for this human capacity that you have? Perhaps even express it to yourself. Maybe even as you gently bring your hands to your heart, to bow your head to your heart. As you invite that deeper wisdom, that deeper intelligence, your deeper intuition to bring you an intention, a quality that you would like to cultivate on the mat today. Not as a goal or an outcome or something to be achieved, but as something that you're inviting to unfold within you. If such an intention arises for you, gently breathe it into your heart with your next breath in. And then gently release it silently outward into the greater web of life with your next breath out. And when you feel ready to do so, you can release your hands if they were lifted. You can rise to a seat if you are lying down. You can open your eyes if they were closed and lift your gaze if it was lowered, and welcome everyone. It's lovely to have all of you here. So we will start standing today. You can, of course, always stay seated on a chair if standing isn't for you in this moment. But if you would like to stand, if that feels right for you right now, then do go ahead and do that. And then whenever you feel ready to start moving, I invite you to bring your hands to your shoulders, to widen your stance a little bit, so you feel nice and stable. Maybe rock forward onto the toes and back onto the heels a couple of times with your hands in chicken arm or chicken wings. And then come to stillness on your feet. Maybe lift your toes for a moment, look at your feet. Even if you're on a chair, right? You can still do all of this. And then gently lower the toes. Heart stays open, your hands prompting the shoulders toward the back of the body. And maybe you watch yourself lower your toes onto the earth if you can, one at a time. If you have codependent toes, many of us do, several might descend all at once, but just see what unfolds. And when all of your toes have reached the ground, begin to draw the elbows forward and then up and behind you. And do this as if you were doing it for the first time, with a sense of luxuriousness, of wow, this is something my body can do. Especially early in the morning, it can be such a miracle to feel your body move in this way, where there is no hurry, there's no real need for the movement in the sense of the movement being purposeful. It's just a movement, and this movement is so beautiful because it opens your heart. It brings you into the day with an open heart and an open mind. Can you just simply feel the gratitude of awakening your body in this way? You can continue simply like this, or you can begin to alternate the arms in such a way that your body begins to turn itself side to side a little bit. And just notice what this adds to the movement in your body. Again, the slower you do this, the more mindful and present you can be with this movement. It doesn't have to be in slow motion, but just a deliberate motion where you sort of feel the arc of the elbow, maybe the gaze even follows the elbow that is making the upper circle. Just experiment with this a little bit and notice how open the heart stays here, how grateful to greet the morning, grateful for another day, another opportunity to move this amazing body that you have. Couple more circles and then come to some sense of stillness for a moment, perhaps with the arms by your side. But without slumping forward, you could even turn your palms forward to remind yourself to keep the heart open. And let yourself receive the reverberations in your shoulder girdle, in your arms, of that gentle movement. We think sometimes that movements need to be difficult or big to make a difference, but it's often the very subtle movements that really bring our energy into a beautiful vibration. And so just notice. And then very gently begin to pivot side to side. This is more rotation, but this time with the arms swinging freely. And tune in to notice if your body slumped down when you started that, and open the heart. Greet the morning with your heart wide open is what I like to say. It's just a beautiful way to start a day. And so if anything, you could exaggerate that, right? And just let the heart be wide, collarbones wide, as the arms just swing very naturally. And slowly begin to mirror that movement very naturally. You don't have to think about this in your knees and your hips, so that the body is beginning to move as a whole. It's kind of like you're letting the body and the breath dance here together. Not in any forced rhythm, not anything imposed, but something that comes from deep within you. This comes from that deep intelligence, that deep wisdom that knows just how to let this movement unfold, just how to coordinate it with the breath. And that allows perhaps the mind to become curious and part of this movement as well. If you would like to speed up or slow down, you could adapt the rhythm to whatever serves you. Maybe the movement in the legs becomes more pronounced, the hips coming out even farther to the side. Notice what works for you, what feels natural, what feels like it greets the morning in an appropriate way, honoring the reverberations of the night, or what you've already done today. Maybe you've already walked or eaten or meditated. It's all here with you. Nothing is ever left behind. That's such a misconception that we often hear in the yoga world, leave everything behind. That's not possible. Everything is always with you. And then if you sped up, slow things down again. And let yourself arrive at center. Maybe the feet naturally want to step closer together. Maybe not. Just notice what is happening for you. And let yourself appreciate the shift in vitality, the shift in your experience in your body, and perhaps even a shift in how your mind is showing up. And then from here, you have the choice of using a chair. You could have your hand on the back of a chair for stability, or you could have a hand at the wall. So yogi's choice. Or if you have concern about placing all of your weight on one foot, you could even bring one knee to the chair and then the hand on the chair. And this is, in fact, how I'll show the next movement first, and then I'll show it to you the other way. And you're going to start swinging the leg that is not on the chair or on the ground, side to side. If you're not comfortable with the knee on the chair, which, by the way, if you do that, put a cushion under it. If you're on the ground, then swing from here. And so you may think, well, wait a minute, that's way too easy. Yeah, no, that's actually pretty challenging movement. You're just swinging the leg forward and back. And what makes it challenging is if at some point you let your hands participate, and your standing leg is steady on the earth. Now it doesn't feel so easy anymore, right? It's the same movement. So always feel free to keep one hand on the back of the chair or one hand at the wall as you're taking a virtual walk here. It's a great way to take a walk without going anywhere. Just a few more rounds of this. And just maybe that layer of joy is starting to emerge a little bit for you. This is a wise movement, but it's also a joyful one. Yeah. 2 or 3 or 4 more rounds, and then you can come to stillness and absorb the movement. Let it reverberate, and yeah, if you want to keep going, keep going. Let it reverberate for you. Notice the shift in breathing now. Notice the shift perhaps in your mind state. And then whenever you feel ready to do the other side, you can just turn around. I just didn't want to turn my back to the camera, but you can decide. So same procedure on this side. If you have a foot that you don't like to have on the ground bearing your weight, you can have the leg kneeling on the chair, okay? Otherwise, you may just start by having a hand here, the other foot is resting, and you start simply by swinging. Just because you know where we're headed, don't jump there. Let the process unfold in the same way on this side as it did on the other side, where you find your balance, you find your ease, and then at some point, you begin to take your virtual walk here. And you may notice, as you might see in me, one side may be way harder than the other side. If you didn't know which one your dominant leg is, it's the one that gave you the steadier foundation. And it may not be the same as your hand dominance. Yeah, so definitely feel okay about having to re-steady and keep walking. Great for balance, great for creating some joy and humility, right? You can both laugh at yourself and be amazed, at how hard it can be to do something on one side of your body versus the other side. You might notice that one leg is tiring faster than the other. Keep going. And then whenever you feel ready to slow down, you can slow down. Maybe the walk slowly stops. Maybe one hand comes back to the chair. And then allow yourself to absorb, to feel the joy of this movement. The shift in your breath, the change in your mind. This is what in yoga we call a vitalizing practice. It's beautiful for moments when you feel tired, not just in the morning, but even in the middle of the day. And then whenever you feel ready to move on, you can come with me if you're not quite there yet. Feel free to continue to rest until the breath has normalized, feels natural and easeful. We'll do the other side again first. So find the same side that you started with for the other movement. Same standing leg, the one toward the chair, same process you could have your knee on the chair if you don't want to weight bear on the foot. And this time you're drawing circles in the hip. You could let your hand be on the leg. It'll probably slide up and down. Sometimes just that slight touch from your own hand creates some stability for the mind. It gives some sensory feedback that can be stabilizing. When you feel that you're in a groove, you could experiment with taking the resting hand away from the chair to continue to rotate, circumduct your hip joint here. And then we will switch directions. You may want to have your hand on the chair for that switch, just because your nervous system has to get used to a new motion. And when you feel like, okay, my body knows what to do, then you can experiment with taking the hand off. The hand is really just a psychological support. You could do this with one finger on the chair, and that would probably be stabilizing enough if you're having some balance issues this morning. And then begin to prepare for ending the movement. Maybe just a couple more rounds. And then step the foot down and sense inward. It might be fun to explore the differences in sensation in the two legs. It might be interesting to take a moment to really pay attention to your breath. To notice perhaps how the body naturally recalibrates your energy, your vitality as expressed through those 4 phases of the breath. The inhalation, the pause, the exhalation, and the pause. Can you allow yourself to be here? Curious, present, patient, grateful. Whenever you feel resettled enough to move to the other side, that's when you'll move there. I'm moving there now. That doesn't mean you have to do that as well. Be patient with yourself. If your breath is still telling you a different story, then don't switch sides yet. If you are ready, then switch sides. And whenever you are ready to begin the motion, start with that external movement, so forward, out, back, letting the hand keep in touch with the leg if you would like. That's not a requirement. I just find it very helpful in terms of cultivating balance. The more sensory input, proprioceptive input you have about your body, the easier balance becomes. And then begin to prepare for the reversal of the circumduction. You might want to place your hand on the chair. Keep your hand there as your system recalibrates to a slightly different demand. And then whenever you are ready to do so, you can perhaps take that hand away from the chair. And then begin to prepare for ending the movement. Maybe you slow down, maybe you simply step down, maybe you use the hand on the chair for support. And when you are ready, bring that foot back to the earth, distribute the weight yet again across two legs, and just notice the magic of having two legs that you can rely on. Not everybody does. Can you be grateful that you are able right now to stand on two legs? Even if one of them were kneeling on the chair, right? If the weight needs to stay off the foot. And sense inward with joy, with gratitude. Take a moment. It's early in the day. Take a moment to appreciate what you have here in this amazing body that is taking you to whatever aspect of these movements is accessible to you. That you have energy, life force, and vitality that allows you to move and upregulate your breath and then calm your breath. That's a miracle too. Gratitude that you have a mind that can absorb new information and learn new stuff and be open and wise and compassionate. And you can stay here until you feel ready to move on. I will go ahead and begin to show where we are headed next, which will be to work a little bit with the chair. Nothing new today at all, really, just maybe slight reinventions of things we've done before. So for this next little sequence, it'll be nice for you to have a chair, but you could also work with the hands on a couple of blocks, or if you have a floor practice, you could even bring the hands to the floor. I'll show everything with the chair. We'll start by breathing in and lifting the arms up and overhead, that very familiar movement that we make so often. With the exhalation, your fingertips, you might have guessed it, come into the hip creases so that you can fold forward from this beautiful hip joint that you have and that we just awakened so beautifully with our hip circles. It's so ready for this motion now. You might keep your fingers in the hip creases and really let yourself feel from the inside out the beauty of having this forward fold hinge that protects your back, that allows your belly to draw in and be strong, and that allows you to hold your body in this particular shape. If the weight of your body is too much for just your legs right now, you can bring the hands to the chair. But you don't have to. It's yogi's choice. They could continue to rest in the hip creases near your hip joint. And just breathe here for a moment. Feeling your body in this odd shape. Allowing yourself to arrive in a little bit more challenge. Noticing your breath and your mind. Maybe there's a different story now. And if you haven't let the hands descend to the chair or a couple of blocks or the earth, do so now. And notice how amazing it is suddenly to distribute the weight of your body across 4 limbs instead of 2. What a relief, right? So how amazing is it that we can be in the world in this form and find a more comfortable way to be here. Then I invite you to stick your booty out behind you as you bend your knees into a little bit of that squat, but with the legs a little closer together than the way we've been doing the squat. And let your belly rest to whatever degree feels comfortable for you on your thighs. You can really stabilize yourself here with your hands on the chair. They can even help carry some of the weight of the body. And notice how comfortable it can be to rest the upper body on the lower body. If you're super comfy here, you could take the hands and bring them either out in front of you or by your side, whatever feels good to you. You could even bring them to your knees and then lift the upper body away and let just the hands support you as your torso lifts up. You decide how deeply bent your knees are. And then from here you have one more option that again you don't have to take, but you could bring the arms up and overhead, coming into what we lovingly call chair pose in yoga. And you can decide how low your chair is. So you could lower your seat, or you could bring your seat all the way up. Just notice what feels right for you. Linger for a moment, and when you've enjoyed enough of this, you can come forward again, resting perhaps the upper body one more time, and then straightening the legs, coming back to all fours. Enjoying this. And then taking one hand to bring it to the low back. Find the strength in your legs, connect yourself to the earth through your feet, then bring the other hand to the other side of your low back and wait for an inhalation to rise up from the hip joint, the back body leading the way. As you arrive back in your standing shape, you can keep facing the chair. Enjoying now the vibration, the pulsation of this shape that we in yoga call mountain. Can you feel like a mountain here? Your feet connected and grounded in the earth, providing a spacious platform, maybe even stepping wider if it doesn't feel spacious yet. And the crown of the head connecting to the heavens like the peak of a mountain, rising toward the sky. If you would like, you could bring your arms up and overhead, keeping the shoulder girdle nice and relaxed. So not straining the shoulders toward the ears, but letting the shoulder blades descend, letting the upper shoulders descend as the fingers reach toward the sky along with the crown of the head. If your low ribs are starting to jut out and you're kind of making a curve like this, draw the belly in, draw the low ribs toward the hips, and find strength in your core. Have the strength of a mountain here. When you would like to, you can very mindfully, with an exhalation and very slowly pressing against gravity, bring your arms back down to your side, very deliberately. If you turn forward like I did, come back to facing your chair. Wait for an inhalation to bring the arms up and overhead, those shoulders nice and relaxed, just like in that mountain that we created a moment ago. You can have it again here. Only now with the exhalation, the arms descend, the fingers come to the hip creases, and you once again lean forward, hands perhaps coming to the chair or to a couple of blocks or to the earth. And wherever you are, in this moment, allow the head now to bow toward the earth. Perhaps having a sense of bowing with gratitude. Wherever you end up, you don't have to come very low. Your arms can stay on the chair the whole time, or maybe they slowly work their way down toward the earth, maybe to a couple of blocks first. Sorry, I didn't. There, something like this first. And maybe as the body releases and the crown of the head moves toward the base of the feet, perhaps the hands come even lower. See if you can allow this to evolve without striving or craving for a particular expression of this forward fold. Its power comes from the bowing forward, not from how deeply or how far you go. There's a beautiful release here, a release of clinging to an outer shape, but also a release of just allowing the head, the shoulders, and the neck to surrender to gravity. Just imagine all day long they have to be upright, striving toward the sky. In this moment, you can simply let them be. You could even imagine stress, strain, draining out of the crown of the head here. Your knees could be slightly bent. Certainly mine are. That brings more ease to the low back. And the journey back up needs to be nice and slow and deliberate. So if your hands are on the ground, bring them to the block if you have one, or to your calves if you don't have a block, or to the chair, to come perhaps in sort of a version of a luxurious version of a downward facing dog. Then slide the hands to the front of the chair, bring the legs forward just enough so that you're in that starting position where you shared the weight here across the forelimbs. Enjoy that familiar shape. And then from here, with your own speed and breath, bring the hands to the low back and ultimately use an inhalation to rise up, but don't hurry yourself. Take whatever deliberate action you would like to take here. Action that honors what is present in your body, in your breath, and in your mind. And then whenever you feel ready, and maybe you already did, you can rise up and take a moment to sense inward. When you rise up this deliberately, it's less likely that you might have a moment of dizziness. If you do have a moment of dizziness, stabilize yourself with the chair. Whenever we bring the head that low beyond the heart, it's a lot of re-regulation for your cardiovascular system. And so just let yourself notice whatever is present for you here. A forward fold is what we call a half inversion. Half because the feet are still on the earth, not just the hands. A full inversion would be a headstand or a handstand. But a half inversion has the same adaptogenic properties of helping people with high blood pressure lower their blood pressure, and helping people with low blood pressure increase their blood pressure. It's amazing. Your body is a miracle. It can work either direction because your body seeks balance. From here, whenever you feel ready, and don't hurry yourself along with an inhalation, the arms come up and overhead one more time. Feel that mountain. Now you really know what this is. This is extended mountain when the hands are lifted. So feel that connection to the earth through your feet. Feel that drawing in of the belly, the low ribs drawing toward the hips. Feel the strength in your core. A mountain has enormous strength at its center. That's how you want to feel. The crown of your head is seeking the sky. The shoulders are relaxed. The fingertips may be spreading far apart. You could imagine shooting energy out of your fingertips, energy that you're drawing up through your feet from the earth. And then when you feel ready to do so, fold again just to the half lift, fingers in the hip creases, halfway down, maybe hands to the chair, maybe hands to the block, maybe hands to your own calves. We can make our own props with our own body parts. So the calves are great here for a resting place for the hands. If you find that your back is rounding a lot, then use the chair. But if you can have a nice natural curve here, then stay here for just a moment and feel the strength of this shape. And then we'll release again with an exhale into the forward fold, but we won't stay here long this time. Just long enough to greet the earth with the crown of the head. And then with an inhalation, bring the hands back to the chair, step your left foot forward, tiny bit, right foot back, and come into a lunge. And then in this lunge, we will take a few little movements where when you inhale, your forward leg moves either straight or towards straight. Doesn't have to be completely straight. And remember, the back hip draws forward, forward hip draws back, right? To keep the pelvis nice and parallel if you look at it from the side. With the exhale, the forward leg bends again. With the inhale, you straighten. And so you move back and forth with your own breath 4 or 5 times. Exhaling, heart lifts, gaze comes forward. I said the breath backwards maybe. Exhaling as the leg straightens. The head gazes, or the eyes gaze toward the floor. Hips stay parallel from the side. Finish the round you're on and then take one more. Ending with the bent leg version, so the lunge rather than the pyramid. And then step your right foot forward if you had it in the back, or I could just say step your back foot forward and we'll switch sides. Step the other foot back. So if you were on the same side, you would now, as I was, you would now have the right foot forward, left foot back. Same procedure on this side. Keeping the hips parallel side to side if you were to look at them from the side. Moving with your breath. Finish the round you're on, and then take one more. Ending on the lunge position, so the bent knee, stepping forward whenever you feel ready to do so. Perhaps you want to bow one more time. Perhaps you'd like to rise directly up. If you bow, do that with the exhale. If you want to rise up, do that with the inhale. If you are bowing, this time keep your hands on the chair and rest the crown of the head on your arms. If you've risen up, enjoy your mountain shape. Either a mountain with the arms by your side, or an extended mountain with your arms reaching up. If you do have the head resting on your arms, gently begin to lift the head to gaze forward and up. Press through the arms, come to your half lift, and when you are ready, use the usual process of hands at the low back and an inhalation to rise up. And let's all meet with hands at the heart when you are ready to be there. Your final challenge in these many standing shapes today is to decide whether you would like to stand here with hands at your heart, observing yourself with eyes open or closed. Closed eyes may be a challenge for your balance, and so experiment with honesty. But whether eyes are open or closed, look inward. Reconnect to your body. Reconnect to whatever sensations or experiences are present for you physically. Can you meet your body with compassion and gratitude yet again? And is there an appreciation you would like to voice toward your body? I am grateful for. Continuing to look inward, whether your eyes are open or closed. Notice your breath, your energy, your vitality. Meeting whatever is here now with compassion and gratitude. Is there an appreciation for your vitality, for your breath that wants to emerge for you? And if so, voice that toward your breath. I am grateful for. And then gently check in with your mind, your thoughts, your stories, your feelings, or maybe simply your mind state. Noticing whatever is present here. Meeting your mind compassionately and with appreciation. And if there is something you would like to voice for your mind, you might do that now. I am grateful for whatever it may be. And finally, deeply acknowledge the wisdom, the intelligence that carried you through the practice, the joy that may have emerged, and invite them to come with you as you move yourself into whatever shape you would like to choose for a couple of minutes of silence. You could lie down, you could sit, wherever you are, make yourself very comfortable. And I really invite you to take part in those 2 minutes of silence. They are the culmination of the practice. They are the time when your body, your mind, your breath, your wisdom, your joy unite, integrate, and become whole. They're a sad stage of the practice to skip. So if your life allows, find your shape for your Shavasana. Settle yourself in. Surrender body, breath, and mind. And move into about 2 minutes of silence until my voice brings you back. Very gently begin to reawaken your senses, taking in perhaps the outer world, hearing the sounds around you, feeling the earth beneath you. Noticing the clothing on your skin, appreciating the fragrance, the aroma in your room. Maybe even noticing a taste in your mouth. And then gently turning the senses to your inner world, connecting yet again to sensations and experiences in your body. Perhaps noticing if your body would like to continue to rest in quietude or needs little wiggles or stretches. And letting whatever needs to emerge, emerge. Drawing your senses perhaps to your breath, your vitality. Being fully alive to air moving in to your body with your next breath in. Being fully alive to the release of the exhalation as breath travels out. If you are lying on the earth and you would like to close the practice in a seat, this would be a perfect time to plot the journey to rise to a seat. And then when you feel ready to begin to rise up. But you're always welcome to close the practice lying down. If you are in a seat and it feels auspicious to you to do so, I invite you to place your hands to your heart. And perhaps to gently bow your head to your heart. In yoga, joy has two components, and joy is actually deeply linked to gratitude. The first component of joy is what we call altruistic joy, and it is the joy for the good that happens to others. It's gratitude for the good fortune of other people. The second part of joy is appreciative joy. And it's the deep gratitude for what we have been given. True joy always holds both of those in equal measure. And so notice if there is some altruistic joy or some appreciative joy in your heart right now that needs a final expression of gratitude as we close our practice today. Notice if there is a takeaway that you would like to seal into your heart. A takeaway that perhaps also connects to the intention or the quality that you honored about an hour ago. And whether all of these beautiful aspects of the practice on the mat result in a dedication of merit. Something that you would like to embody but also to send into the outer world. And if such a dedication arises for you, perhaps you use your next in-breath to seal it within, and your next out-breath to send it into the greater web of life. And as always, thank you all so very, very much for practicing, for being here, for sharing the joy of yoga. It's such a privilege and honor to have these Thursday mornings with you.